We're here today with Romulus City Clerk Ellen Craig Bragg, and Ellen, it's the season for you. We've got elections coming up. We have the primary August the 2nd,
Yes.
and the presidential election, which is a big one,
Yes.
coming up in November. Now, this primary coming up, here we got a
Yes.
ballot right here in
Yes.
front of us, a big long yellow ballot. Now on the front side, I see mostly judges, state representatives, legislative, that sort of thing. Is that correct?
That's correct. So we'll have on the congressional side, we'll have for the 13th district, for the legislative races, we have our state rep, which is in the 12th district.
Right.
And then there are several county offices that are up
Okay.
for re-election. On the Republican side, there are no candidates that are running for public office, county offices.
For county
in
offices,
right.
okay.
But for the Democrat offices there
All
on the
sorts
county
of-
levels, we
all
have
sorts of
the
candidates.
prosecuting attorney's office, the county sheriff, the county clerk, the county treasurer, the register of deeds, and the one position seat on the county commissioner's race, and that's the 11th district.
Because the size of Romulus, can this ballot change from precinct to precinct?
The difference is precinct delegates. They're also, and usually precinct delegates are only during the primary election. So
Okay.
In each precinct, you're going to have several candidates that are running for precinct delegates. So depending on that precinct, the size and the number of those candidates running for as a precinct delegate, it will change from precinct to precinct.
Right.
But one thing to note, on the front of the ballot where you have your partisan sections of Republican and Democrat, for the precinct delegates, which are also partisan positions, you have to flip the ballot over.
I was just going to talk about that.
You got to flip the ballot over. Also on the front of the ballot, during this election cycle, we have several judges, actually, for the Third Circuit Court. There are 21 candidates for four seats.
4 seats. Oh, my goodness. Now, and this has happened to me, oh, boy, I'm done voting. Oh, no, I'm not. We've still got more on the back. Okay, like you said, now on the back, we've got the delegates, and we've got 2 proposals on the back.
Two county proposals. One is a parks millage, that's proposal P, and the other one is a millage renewal. This is the Wayne County's Zoological Authority.
Yeah, okay. You have to vote for every individual, is that correct?
Straight party voting, yes. So what that means is that for each party, you still can't cross parties in this primary election. You'll have to, it's either Republican or Democrat, but you'll have to vote for each individual race in that party. So basically it's just going to take a little bit longer in the voting booths.
But now that's in the primary only, right? That's not in the general election?
In the general election, you can cross parties.
Okay. We've also had a precinct change?
Yes,
Okay.
and this one is one I'm very excited about. So we've moved Precinct 5 from City Hall to the Senior Center. Our seniors are very excited about the move. It's more convenient for them. It meets all of the American Disabilities Act requirements. Larger facility. I don't think parking will be a problem.
No.
We have the parking in the lot. If it does get really busy, you can always park across the street at the Chamber of Commerce building.
Right.
But we're really excited about this change with this precinct.
I think it gives the citizens who've never been in the senior center a chance to take a look at it and its marvelous facilities, so that's going to be good there too.
Absolutely, and then also for the residents that live in the vicinity of the senior center, if it's a nice day, like I'm sure it will be in August, on August the 2nd, if they want to walk, they can actually walk to the precinct. So it's really it's a nice move, and I'm really believe that it will be more convenient for the voters in Precinct 5.
Very good. Well, one of the other convenient ways that we've made this year for people to vote is a nice drop box outside City Hall.
Yes, we making it convenient for those who are voting absentee ballots. One of the big pushes this year among clerks statewide is to encourage voters that meet the qualifications to vote an absentee ballot. We wanted to make it convenient for those voters who choose to do that. So instead of having to walk in City Hall, downstairs, there's a drop box right out front.
Fantastic.
And we've been receiving a lot of positive feedback.
Now, what are, just to quickly, just kind of go over a little bit about absentee ballots. Senior citizens,
Yes.
what age?
I can give you the qualifications.
Okay.
Age 60 and over.
Okay.
If you're unable to vote without assistance at the polls, if you're expecting to be out of town on election day, if you're in jail awaiting arraignment or trial, if you're unable to attend the polls due to religious reasons, and if you're appointed to work as an election inspector in a precinct outside of your precinct jurisdiction. So those are the requirements to vote absentee. Also, if you meet any of those requirements, you can request to be on our permanent absentee voter list, which
good.
means that for every election, you will automatically receive your application to vote in that election.
I've wondered about that because every year I get, you have to register, not register, but
But you have to apply.
apply for an absentee ballot, and I'm saying, well, I'm going to. I went over that age 60 a while ago, so.
Well, election law requires that everyone that votes a ballot, that they must request that ballot in writing. So
Right.
that's why we have the applications to vote in the precincts and as well as an absentee ballot.
Right.
But one step, instead of you having to call, that we will automatically send you that application by being on that list.
Okay.
So it's one of those things that another convenient for voters. There's no hassle.
But you
no
still,
phone calls.
every election, you still have to fill out the application
Absolutely.
and send it back.
Absolutely.
Okay, all right, okay. What else should we be concerned with? Just showing up at the polls or making sure our absentee ballot gets in? But vote, that's the main thing.
The important thing is to vote. If you have any questions, you can always contact the clerk's office, and we'll assist you in any way that we can. We are really encouraging voters to come out, and again, the weather should be nice. We are anticipating a larger voter turnout than we've seen in the past years.
Oh, okay.
We're anticipating that because of what happened in the presidential primary back in March, and so which is historically has always been a lower voter turnout, but our voter turnout was at 30%.
That was tremendous, yeah.
Very tremendous. So this year we are prepared, for the August primary election. A couple of things they'll see different in the precinct in preparation for anticipation. For the larger voter turnout. You'll see more helpers. You'll see more election workers.
Good. Nobody likes to stand in line.
No. And we're doing everything that we can to minimize the amount of time that the voters are in line. Some of our larger precincts, we're going to pilot them, and we're actually going to have 2 laptops. Electronic poll books. So this is something states recommending, especially in our precincts that we have larger voter, larger registered voters in those precincts. So in some of those precincts, you will see 2 laptops, and this is another venture that we're using to speed up those lines and get voters in and get voters out, and that they will have a positive voter experience. That's one of our main goals, that voters will enter our precincts, and when they walk out with that I voted sticker, they can say they had a positive experience in our polling locations.
Helen Craig Bragg, our Romulus City Clerk, thank you very much.
Thank you, Dennis. My pleasure.